60 Minutes Rewind.
The exact site where Timothy McVeigh blew up the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City was recently turned into a national monument, the first new memorial approved by Congress in 15 years, and the only one dedicated to a single specific minute in American history, 9:02 a.m. on April 19, 1995, the moment of the explosion. 6 of the family members and survivors of the bombing took us last week to the Oklahoma City National Memorial, a 2-block area where the 9-story federal building once stood and where 168 people died. This is so quiet and peaceful now.
It has been transformed. I didn't think that it would be possible that there would be a peace and tranquility here, because it just seemed like the place was haunted with death. You knew something huge and devastating and life-changing took place here. You just can't describe the confusion, the mass confusion, because, here we are in Oklahoma City where you never expect anything like this to happen. And here, I felt like I had been transported to Beirut.
The most poignant symbol of the devastation at this memorial is a field of 168 empty bronze chairs, one for each of those killed. The chairs stand in 9 rows. They're placed according to the floor on which the victims were working or visiting at the time. There are 19 smaller chairs for the children, most of them killed in the daycare center. At the entrance to the memorial is the survivor tree, an American elm which was badly damaged but is still standing.
That's the only living thing left right there. The dead have all been buried, the survivors have been relocated, and that's the only thing left.
At each end of the memorial are twin gates, one marked 901 and the other 903. They frame the moment of destruction. The reflecting pool in between is where the Ryder truck loaded with 7,000 pounds of explosives was parked.
I know this was the last place on earth my wife's spirit was. And so I come down here just to be in the vicinity of where her spirit left this earth.
There is also a new museum on the grounds which provides a chilling hour-by-hour account of the events of that day. Janine Gist, who lost her daughter Karen in the bombing, took us through the museum, starting in a room that contains an actual audio recording of the moment the bomb exploded. It was made during a public hearing, which was being held that morning in a building across the street.
Have to receive information regarding
In the next room, on a large screen, a local news report immediately following the blast.
About a third of the building has been blown away, and you can see just smoke and debris and fire on the ground, downtown on the ground. This is just devastating.
This is a room that we call chaos.
Chaos because of all the things that you hear.
Right, and it's designed to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, because this represents immediately after the bombing.
The museum contains 650,000 items that were pulled from the rubble. A street light.
The street light.
A door.
The door.
A clock that's frozen at 9:02.
Yes.
Which is when the bomb went off.
Yes, 9:02.
The computer.
The computer.
Filing cabinet.
Filing cabinets with the files still there.
And there are everyday personal items belonging to the people who worked and died in the building.
These are keys that were found in the rubble, and they either that or on some of the victims' person, and they were donated back to the memorial by the victims' family.
And over here?
These are watches that belong to the victims. This watch here belonged to my daughter, Karen Carr, and she had it on, and they asked if we would donate it back to them, and we did. It was important to me that it be in here.
Coffee cups?
Coffee cups.
Eyeglasses over here?
Eyeglasses.
And what's back here?
These are shoes that belong to the victims that were found in the rubble. This shoe here belonged to a little 4-year-old girl. Her name was Ashley Eccles, and she lost her grandmother and grandfather also in the building. So the family of this little girl also lost their parents.
Janine Gist then showed us where in the building her daughter died. Oh my God.
Yeah. My daughter was on the 4th floor. My daughter was right about here, and she went right down there. And
Underneath all of that.
It was 10 days before they found her.
10 days?
You can imagine what that was like.
It must have been terrible for you.
Yes, it was.
During any part of that time, did you think she might still be alive?
Oh, the whole time. I guess it's kind of unbelievable now, but I wouldn't allow myself to even cry, because if I cried, it would mean that she was gone.
Janine Gist's daughter Karen is among the 168 people who are remembered in this room called the Gallery of Honor, a tribute to all of the men, women, and children who died at the hands of one man's act of terror. As the execution of Timothy McVeigh draws near, attendance at the museum has increased significantly to more than 2,000 people a day. What do you hope that they walk away with from here?
Well, I want them to realize how senseless this all was. You know, the people who did this thought that they would take down the government, but actually, moments after the blast, the government was still at work. And the very next day, the government agencies had picked up their files and just went on about their business.
The story will continue after this.
Throughout the entire museum, there is only a brief reference to McVeigh when he was arrested and then convicted. You don't see his name or hear his name very often in this museum.
No. We made it a point not to glorify him in any way in this museum. I don't really have anything to say about McVeigh publicly. I just have an aversion to giving him any kind of attention.
It is possible to keep a man's name out of a museum. But will any of these people, the families and survivors of the Oklahoma City bombing, be able to keep Timothy McVeigh out of their minds? Some say the only way to do that is to forgive him.
The Bible said we have to, in order to be forgiven for our sins. Yes, we have to forgive him.
Because if you don't forgive him, he still holds you captive. You become his prisoner.
Patty Hall, who was severely injured in the blast, says she prays for Timothy McVeigh.
I pray for him because I think he needs it.
You pray that he does not go to hell?
I pray that God will render his own vengeance whatever way he sees.
But everyone at this table lost something or someone. You lost part of yourself, you lost a loved one, and here is a man who is sitting there who has no remorse for what he did. How do you forgive that?
I don't know. I'm
God's
trying.
grace.
I'm trying. And I hope one day I will get up out of the bed and say, thank God I've forgiven Timothy McVeigh.